to spill the beans. We just mutated Anunnaki genes. Tiger blood, Charlie Sheen. Leadership level like a college dean. Addicted to the truth like crack is to a fiend. The elites killed the American dream. Along with Epstein, let's rage against the machine. Momentum picking up and I'm hardly burning steam. Positivity never makes it mainstream. The country's torn like some Levi James. Cutting the lawn, but I'm barely making greens. Give it to you straight like a laser beam. This fucking reality is not what it seems.
Just slowly gonna die here. So what's an hour really worth? Take the road you've never been down. Drive the heart until it hurts. We love and die, so here's to another fire, another line, another drink. We never mind, 'cause we'll be chasing it always. We'll be chasing it always.
Dude, I have a treat for you guys. Sorry, I kind of just stopped you in the moment right there. Man, I have a treat for you guys. We have a very special guest today. It's AJ from The Dangerous Summer, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. But damn it, whenever I watch this music video right here, I feel like I'm on the coast, I'm smoking a joint and just living life. And this music is kind of like a lot of the songs from AJ's band is kind of like the soundtrack to my life and probably your guys' life as well. It just kind of gets you in the want to go out and explore and just live life and live in the moment. And guess what? I have him right here. Let's go ahead and unmute. AJ, how you doing?
Good, man. Hell yeah. And fuck yeah. Thank you for the kind words, man. Hell yeah.
Hey, thank you, dude. I'm telling you that you've been on the grind. It's been a while since I've seen you last when you were on tour with the 𝐋𝐎𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐒 and then the band Ann Arbor, which I was selling merch for them. And one of your bandmates busted his lip at a show. Anyway, look, 15 years and now we're not doing it with cameras. We're all right here. So what's going on and what's been going on since? I mean, you remember that day? You remember?
Oh, dude, I remember, man. That was like an ending to a crazy tour, and man, 𝐋𝐿𝐕𝐄𝐒, they were fucking killing it, and yeah. Sadly, I thought they were going to be the biggest band in the world. I don't know what happened to that, but man, same with Ann Arbor, man. I fucking love Ann Arbor. I haven't seen those guys in a minute, but man, the good old days, man. I think, touring was so much fun back then. I feel like, when it's even less of, when you're on the earlier journey, it just feels even that much better of like, you always live in those nostalgic days. I think, nostalgic is the drug, nostalgia. And man, just to go back and think about those times, you get that little flutter in your heart, that little feeling. It's beautiful, man.
I remember you guys playing in New York on that tour, and that band 𝐋𝐿𝐕𝐄𝐒, I had to go back into the green room to grab something. And I remember overhearing their management saying, "Don't worry, we gave them the prep talk. Act like this is like if you go to somebody else's house, how you would act at dinner." And as I walked out, I started thinking how some bands and artists, they're under a certain look where they have to be a certain way the whole time, where you guys and even my friends in Ann Arbor have always just kind of been like the middle finger up. We're doing our own thing.
Yeah,
this is us. You can't shape who I am. So have you seen artists come and go in this industry that didn't stick it with the label the way with like how have you been able to maneuver for so long and to keep to still do it, especially when it has changed the environment, but
Yeah.
just you yourself wanting to do it with all the
Yeah, I do think there is a big, it's kind of like one of those worlds where, yeah, if you play by the rules and you're very like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, I mean, it can help you a lot, but also, it can hurt you too. Like you said, we've always been kind of, we have our song "Fuck Them All." I always think there's a place, there's always a place for the suits in the industry. We have our managers, our agents. We have, we still work with labels to an extent, and you kind of the suits are there so that you can kind of say the opposite and then you meet in the middle. I think that's always where our relationship's been. It's like, hey, like, what it, sometimes they have some crazy ideas. It's all politics. Everything is shaking hands and making everything right. And sometimes I think, like, we're such an emotional band, we drive with such emotion, and sometimes, yeah, we cause a little bit of uptick, we cause a bit of, unsettling sometimes. I think a great artist knows when they have to do something, and I think, there's moments where we say, nah, I have to do this my way. I have to do this like this. And yeah, Ann Arbor too. I mean, they've always been, it's almost like we're like the black sheep of the industry. And I mean, I think growing up in general, in my family, I've been the black sheep. I know what it's like to kind of be different, but realizing that the difference is your superpower. That's kind of what, makes it great, makes you different, and what makes you stand out. So yeah, always, to fight for your heart, everything you believe, just go off of that, truly.
Well, when you're talking about like the earlier days, I mean, was this your first record right here? Was this the first one, or was it this
Yeah, that was the first full length. We had an EP right before that. So 2006, we had an EP, and we kind of like, faltered a little bit. We were having trouble like being a band. We got signed in high school through, the likes of All Time Low. They were a local band, got us signed to Hopeless Records, released our first EP, and then we just were like, damn, this is hard. Like going on tour, we make no money, we're broke, this sucks. And so we kind of like let it fall apart. And then they started calling us. They're like, your EP is selling really good. Like, what would it take you guys to do a full length? So they pulled us back in to do Reach for the Sun, basically. Like, we were kind of like, wow, we tried that. That was pretty hard and pretty, rough, especially as, 17, 18-year-old kids coming out of high school. Like, you have no fucking clue what you're doing, let alone driving across the country in a van trying to make
right?
something happen out of it. So
Wait, that's when you made this one, when you were like not even out of high school? It's like you were just getting ready to get out of
well, so yeah, like we made one of the songs. There's an EP with the Permanent Rain on it, which ended up being on Reach the Sun too. But so 2009, about 2.5, 3 years later, we made Reach for the Sun. This one right here with the tree, and that
okay.
was kind of, we were like 20 years old or something, just out of high school, and yeah, and we got it back together and started really pushing and starting to have some traction. And that album like did pretty all right. So it kind of put us on the map in the days of like absolute punk and these communities. There was great scenes, great music scenes across America. In Maryland especially, we had a good music scene. You go up to New Jersey, great music scene.
You were a Warped Tour staple. I mean, speaking of that too, I mean,
Yeah.
Warped Tour coming back, and I think you guys even got like, you guys you're doing even the Warped Tour too coming up. I mean,
Yeah, yes. So I wish we were doing the actual day, but this is like, yeah, the road to Warped Tour. So this is like a day or two before the actual one that happens in DC. So it's
cool.
kind of like, hey, they gave us a little nod, but man, it'd be nice to play like the real one in DC. But yeah, this will be fun. We're gonna do this next month. And man, yeah, we did 2007 Warped Tour, 2011 Warped Tour.
Well, I
And
mean, you've been in the game for a while, or you wouldn't be going on that Anne Berlin tour that you guys got off of, and Anne Berlin's
yeah.
been in it for a moment. So I mean, you definitely have skin in the game, and you've been, you've been at it for a while, and it shows with the different artists and people
Hey
you've been
man,
working with.
yeah. Next year we're gonna do some stuff around our 20 years since we started the band, which is pretty unreal to say. It's like, man, we're getting to that age where we're hitting 20 years, pretty unreal. And yeah, I think we're gonna do some fun stuff for that. But you know, with being a nostalgia band, I mean, some people, you know, they play super off the nostalgia, and they haven't made albums in years. Like we like to keep pushing our art forward, keep making albums for the people. And even when we took a little break, 2013, 2017, and we started getting offers for like big festivals. People, you know, all these bands were trying to get us on their tours and whatnot, and get us to come back. And you know, like we're just artists at heart, so we had to go and we had to make an album first. I think we're an album first band. I wouldn't want to just give people only old, you know. And I think we're getting to that point right now too, where it's like, man, it's time for another album. It's been long enough where we want to present some new work into the world.
Wait, all right. I mean, dude, I mean, you guys just, this is where I started listening to you guys again. By the way, you're going on a tour this summer, which with over in the UK, but it's right here. Dude, this
Yeah, oh hell
this
yeah.
music video, like that song Coming Home, and that music video is just off the charts. You even have Josh from Every Avenue who joined your band. I remember him back in the day, with him back in the day, the Take Action tour. But tell us a little bit about this album and how, dude, that song Coming Home is so sick. And then the music video too. Like, no,
Yeah,
like
man.
seriously, I'm not trying to kiss you. I mean, it's really good. Like in the quality of this, the cinematography, the audio. I mean, everything. It's like you found over from being just out of high school to now, kind of being like your own thing. Like you people come to you now to make music, and you chop it up. So
Yeah,
tell
oh
us
yeah.
more about this. What's this Coming Home about? What was this whole album about?
Yeah, man, coming home, like I think we were riding off of basically during the pandemic, everything kind of shut down. And we tried to make basically this album. We tried to make a full length, but it ended up being an EP called All That Is Left of the Blue Sky. We wrote the song like Fuck Them All was on that. It was actually a pretty successful EP. We self-released. And then immediately, you know, after we released that, we're like, well, we need to make the full length. So we came in to make Coming Home. And man, it was just magical. It was in Richmond at the time, right? And it was still like kind of the end of pandemic times, and we were finishing up this album, making it happen. You know, tours were finally starting to kick off again. So we quickly made an album, and man, Coming Home was a special song. And honestly, yeah, this video, we actually had our boy Pat Lawler, incredible cinematographer, out on tour with us. He's one of my good friends, and literally we shot this video in like 20 minutes. We just ran through it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like we just went into the national park. It was right outside of Roswell, New Mexico. And he was like, let's just set up real quick. And this thunderstorm was coming too. And he was like, and he's so good. He's been doing it for like, you know, his whole life, cinematography. And what you learn, like when you get deeper into cinematography, it's like you shoot less, and, you know, you don't have to edit as much. Like, commit to the takes. You know, here's 3 really good takes from different angles of the song, and then put it all together, and boom, like we were in and out of there in, yeah, like 20-25 minutes, something like that. So it was like pretty surreal and really great to watch him work. And, you know, he has a beautiful red camera that he shoots on and stuff. So man, he just ripped it. And like in a day or two period, we shot 3 music videos really quickly. And that's the thing, is that you realize about art. It's like, you know, sometimes you get in your own way with trying to make things so grand and beautiful, when really, like, you know, you can take a quick second and capture the world. You can capture, you know, all it really is capturing humanity, capturing a moment. And you know, like, you don't have to put so much grandiose on all this stuff. You just, it should feel unfiltered. It should feel really off the cuff. It should feel real. So even with music, I like to just fly with it. You know, I think, you know, honesty is basically the currency. Just if you're honest with what you're looking at, with what you're saying and what you're feeling, boom, you're in, you know.
Well, this looks like a $50,000 piece of work. And like you're saying, when you just have all the right elements and you're passionate and you got the skills, you can make 50,000. I mean, you can pull over to the side of the road and just set up your gear, and now people won't even know. And
Exactly. Amen. Yeah.
And wow, holy crap. But also in this digital age, and how everything's, and being, if you're a band, you got to put out the content on the social medias. You got to do this. People have short attention spans. So we got to figure out a new way. 15 years ago, how you would release an album in singles, you have to do it differently now. And maybe you release an album and 2 singles, but then after the album, you already have to have a single that's not even related to that album already ready, and a music video for that, and then you have to do this, and then, well,
yeah, I know, and that's the thing is, there's all these, you know, new age rules or new age, here's the way you should do it, and also, you know, on the other tip of the hat, that the exact opposite works too. You know, it's like, it's kind of like, you know, things that are meant to happen kind of happen. I think artists that are great, I do believe they have their day, they find their time, whether you just throw, you know, like, you know, then you have, you know, Post Malone, he just uploads a song to SoundCloud and he's the biggest artist in the world, you know, like, it happens different for different people. And, you know, like, I think there is, like, Instagram turns into this is how you should do it, you know. Everyone's making content about how to make content, you know, and you're like, who fucking cares, you know, like, just be you and just be a personality and just show yourself, release great art, and fuck it all, you know. Like, you know, I think just as much as the rules apply, the opposite of the rules are just as great, you know.
And it sounds like that's like a perspective, like kind of going from how we used to have this to this now. Like now I see people making videos of them always yelling at the phone, and it makes me wonder if they had just this, would they just be yelling at the phone, at the camera? Probably not, because they'd have to upload it, do all these extra steps. And to them, it's now just easier to yell at the phone, press send, and walk away, instead of how you and I and others have, you know, been around the block for a little bit, and how I've kind of seen it evolve to where you used to do it this, now you just go live. Or you used to be like, camera 1, take camera 2, camera 3. Okay, camera 3, tilt to the left. Okay, we're going to go to camera 3, cut to camera 3. Now I'm doing it all here with you. No crew, nothing.
I know. It's crazy.
How do you think music's getting? Because now there's AI. Now you can just have music do it for you. I mean, my wife, she made a song for this video when we went out here in Italy to look at the jets and stuff. She made a song. Sounds like Linkin Park, but it's not. It's all AI, and she owns it. But it sounds really good. So, what do you think about that? Will there always be a place for originality, or do artists, and especially up and comers, have to worry about competing with AI? I mean, this is, are you thinking no? If you're original, you're going to be fine if you just keep working.
Yeah, I truly think, I mean, humanity wins, especially amongst humanity. You know, like, I think, you know, immediately if you tell somebody, if you show someone a song and you tell them, hey, this is AI, it immediately, you know, like, it turns people off, you know, immediately. I think what makes art great, and what is amazing about art, is it's a fingerprint of humanity. I mean, like, even like these songs that we write, these videos that release, I mean, these are going to be hieroglyphics, you know, thousands of years from now. We're really just humanity screaming out. They want to feel the record of human touch. That's why music's beautiful. That's why painting's beautiful. That's why, you know, like, a print of Van Gogh's Starry Night does not compare to you looking at it on the wall in its beautiful glory. Like, you know, when it's in real life and you can see the way his hands touch the canvas and everything. I mean, I think humanity is literally what it is, you know, like, and as an evolutionary species, I think that is we get off on that. We love ourselves. You know, we think our God is human. We love ourselves, like, everything human. Like, our DNA doesn't allow us to let AI take over our interests. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we're so interested in each other, I think, you know, in a lot of ways.
I like that. You when you were talking about that, you reminded me of the scene out of Good Will Hunting when Matt Damon was sitting next to Robin Williams, and he was basically telling him, hey, you know, you can talk and say all this, but until you're actually there and smelling it, you have to live. And you've been around. I mean, you're staying out in Italy for a little while, and you've been able to travel around with your band. And Terrence McKenna said, you know, if you don't want to do psychedelics, you don't have to. Another way to expand is just traveling. And
Amen.
So I feel like now, you know, we used to survive to live, where we're out in the forest picking and hunting, and we got to get back to the fire before night down. Now we're just living to survive, and we stopped that nomadic mentality. Everybody's just kind of staying put. So what are some, going into that, what are some awesome places that you've been able to see through traveling with your band, but also have kind of made you kind of see things differently, maybe appreciate life differently, see it differently?
I mean, man, like, going to Japan was amazing. Going to traveling all over, man. That's the thing is like about traveling. I think you pick up pieces along the way. Like, like even, going through Texas, you get a pair of cowboy boots. Going through these different cities, you pick up these little pieces, and they change who you are. You start to kind of see the world. You start to really shrink the world. I think as soon as you can start shrinking the world and realizing how small it is, and honestly, the human connection, again, back to humanity, where, man, like everybody is the same. Everybody, I always say, not to be crude, but I mean, even Taylor Swift at the end of the day is taking a big shit. She's fucking human. Like, you see people in like in their everyday, it's like no one is above each other. We are all the same. We are all dealing with our problems. Like, everybody has it rough because we're dealt with the human condition. Like, that's who we are. So the more you travel, you see how people live in different ways, and they're exactly the same as you. And you're like, wow, like this is, everybody is your brother. Everybody is your sister. We are on this planet fighting the same fucking battle. And I think the problem with this world right now is that we think we're different. Everybody's trying to separate. Well, you're like this, you're like that. It's like, no, we are all fucking humans. It sucks to be human. We like, like I always say, you envy the cow on the side of the road. We're on tour. We drive down the highway. You see a cow munching on grass. You come back 2 years later, that same cow is munching on the grass. And we've been around the world 2-3 times since then. It's like, we're just churning our fucking wheels for no reason. Like we're just humans on a goddamn mission for no reason. Like we're insane, and so there's beauty in that.
It seems like it's everything's kind of chaos, and we're all going through it, and there's some sense of beauty in it because, like you said earlier, the pain, all this helps shape you to who you are. But it feels like when, at least online, I look outside, everything's birds chirping, everything's good, but when I go online, it looks like it's total, just everything. The sky is falling. How do you, by this message of humanity and coming together, do you find it hard to kind of sing and put that out there in a world that feels like it's so toxic at times? Do you feel like you have to pick a certain view when it comes politically? Do you stay away from politics? What if somebody in your band is more kind of outspoken about certain politics? Do you tell them to keep it to themselves and not hurt the brand? Or are you, I mean, there's all these other things that come in to thinking, or for you, it's whatever, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, like, I think in my way, and I think this is like the way I think in a lot of ways, like, macro, if you zoom out a little bit, yeah, it's like there's nothing. You walk outside, you go into the grocery store, you run into someone that's at the grocery store. You're not thinking, and you say something to them, you start a conversation, you're not thinking, oh, like what angry politics, what this and that. Like at the end of the day, when you're in real life with people, like there is none of that. It is all online because people, again, churning their wheels online and going kind of crazy. But like if say there was a fire in your neighborhood down the street, all the neighbors came outside to come together to see what's going on, to help the people. At the end of the day, none of that would matter. And that is the kind of thing, like none of it really matters. I mean, obviously there's issues that need to be dealt with. But I mean, hey, it's like, at the end of the day, like, man, I believe in humanity. I believe that we all love each other. And it is just, we're churning our wheels online, just spitting at each other and this and that. It's some kind of hate that's in the world that I think when you get people to, again, like you were saying, like psychedelics, like, yeah, you don't need it from psychedelics or whatever. Like I took a bunch of psychedelics. I love that shit. But to see that, we are all the same, and to see it from another perspective, when people are so angry and like frustrated, it's like, go to the top of fucking Mount Everest and look down at the earth and tell me how you feel about the world. Like, it's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. And
I know it's beautiful, but what about the Epstein files? And what about Diddy? And what about the Draco reptilians from the constellation Draco, or the Anunnaki from Planet X coming? You not hear?
And I think maybe I guess my algorithm, like, it's like my algorithm doesn't have any of that. So maybe I'm just, and I think that's what it becomes. It's like, whatever you see on the internet becomes a reality of its own, where it's like, if you see all this, yes, about Epstein and all this stuff, and maybe there's something really to look at there. But I'm so, I guess, macro in a different sense, where I'm looking on a different plane. I don't know, like I wish I had time to think about what's going on somewhere else. But man, I like just focus on my
You're
people,
so
and
immersed into what you love and your passions that you don't even have the spare second or time to even put it towards any extra stuff like that. So you're so into trying to give back through your own way, through music and creation and
yeah,
connectivity. You don't
exactly.
even have time to even, what's a Epstein? I mean, I understand that people
Yeah.
might need to know, but for me, this is like what I'm doing. I don't have time about that. Because as we find out, even with me, you're working with me, I'm making a song, other people reach out to you. So you have a lot to do even outside of the dangerous summer and just even have your own personal life where you don't even have time to flip on the TV or pay attention to that. That's what I'm getting out of what you're
Yeah,
saying.
exactly. I have less of that in my life, and yeah, I see people post some stuff on their Instagram stories, and I'm just like, wow, these people have a different algorithm than I have. And you see people on the right and on the left where it's like, oh, these people get fed all this news, all these people, it's just like everyone's getting served something. And luckily, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with my algorithm. I just get titties on my algorithm. I'm like, fuck,
Hey, no, same here. Like I literally, my wife's like, "What's that?" I go, "No, honey, listen, literally,
Yeah,
I just
Instagram, I
like one
swear.
photo,
Like,
and now I
yeah.
get them all shoved up my face." And the only reason I liked it is because I was trying to understand why they wear the shirts with the nipples poking through for no reason. By the way, didn't you just get married?
No, I'm gonna ask my girlfriend to marry me soon. Yeah,
Oh yeah, sorry.
I just fell in love recently. Fell in
No,
love.
congratulations. Because
Thank
as we find out with algorithms and all the temptations, sometimes finding the good one, it might take a little time, or some people might just have an AI robot, as we're finding out, which is crazy. So, hey, I want to
you.
say this in the earlier stages. I'm glad you found an actual human, because in another 10
Yeah.
years,
Amen.
people are going to say, hey, I'm glad you found somebody, because it could be
Exactly.
an actual robot and it'll be norm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really going to be norm. So how
I
did
know.
you find this person? If you don't mind me asking, how do you find love in the
Man,
digital age?
on tour, I met her, and man, fell in love instantly. And yeah, she's in Austin, Texas, and this summer I'm gonna bring her out on tour, and hopefully in Europe, ask her to marry me. Getting the ring made right now, and I'm in love. It's just like, and it's just sometimes it's like it stops the whole world, and maybe that is like another reason why I don't focus on too much other. It's like I'm in love. I'm blinded by that right now, and man, I just it feels good. Feels really
Well,
good.
it's good because we need more love out there. So when you're feeling this kind of way, it radiates and puts out in there, and other people feel that way too.
Yeah,
So
amen, man, amen.
and sometimes when you don't go searching, you end up just finding. And since you're in Austin, I'm pretty sure you found her, and I'm pretty sure you also found some great barbecue. I know there's like
Oh
Stubbs and
man,
Ironworks. I've been out there South by Southwest years ago,
yeah.
but everything's changing. So let me tell you this:
Oh
from the
man, it's a different city. Yeah, it's a different city. It's
So when
crazy.
you started in 2008 or 2010, when I was with you and you went to emos in Austin, and if we had to go 15 years later, how's just for letting people know if they want to start a band, just talk about the landscape, just even cities you've been down. How much has things changed over the
Y-
course of your touring
Yeah,
experience?
I mean so much, and
Right.
especially, I mean, Austin's a great example where there used to be these cities, and Denver used to be the same way. Portland used to be the same way, where it's like, you went there way back in the day, and they were kind of more shittier in a way. Like, I not to say shitty, but I mean, like, they were more like, again, cheaper. Artists live there. They made it awesome. I mean, like, yeah, back when we were doing South by Southwest, 2008, 2009, 2010, it was a different city. There was all this art, and man, South by Southwest was like an artist movement that was happening. And then, rich people come in, and I think that's the cycle of life. It's like, a place becomes really cheap. Artists come in, they make it so fucking cool, good food, good fucking, vibes, restaurants, bars, great murals, like beautiful stuff. Rich people come in, they buy it all up, and the artists, I think the strength of a great artist is they know they're willing to sell that place. They're willing to sell Austin and move to the next city where they start over again. They're willing to burn it all down and go to the next thing. So that circle of life that happens with that. And yeah, like man, like Portland used to be like this different place, and then it turned out the hipster cool, you know, and it just changes. And I think Austin, it's wild to see, you know, you go places, just a different breed now. It's a bunch of, you know, like kind of tech bros, and you know, you can tell everyone's very, very wealthy, everyone's beautiful. You're like, damn, like wow, this is like a different fucking world, you know. And also with that comes the extreme homelessness. I mean, homelessness has gotten a huge upheaval around there, because yeah, like again, like what the fuck are we doing with people? Because housing is insane, even for like, you know, like people that make money can't even afford a house right now. I mean, it they're gonna have to do something at some point with the people, man. Take care of the people. I think, you know, it's sad to see so much displacement, and who
Not as much
knows where that
homelessness
comes
10
from.
years ago is what you're saying. Like you've seen a lot of homelessness over the years, probably even the last 4 years. But what you're saying, a lot of these places that the artists went in kind of look raggedy Andy. Then
Yeah,
they come in, the wealthy, they buy it, they turn it around, and then it turns out to be what Austin is now, which a lot of what they call technocrats or whatever, these people coming in. But there's a
yeah,
beauty in that, because the artist is like a nomad searching for the next place and to turn into that, and everything kind of
exactly.
grows. And
Yeah.
the foundation is art and beauty, and
It,
there's something beautiful in
it's like a
that.
circle of life, and even like, and I think then it cracks again, you know, like almost like what happened to Detroit and what is probably going to happen to LA. It hits a bubble, and then it just crumbles, and then the artists move back in. You know, it's like it's kind of crazy. Like that's what happened to Detroit. I mean, people were selling houses for iPads 10 years ago, and now it's getting really cool again. Like man,
Wow.
the restaurants and everything. I mean, like, yeah, people came in, they fucking planted gardens, they made it beautiful, they fucking made cool neighborhoods with cool breweries, and you know, and then now it's like got value again. It's like, and I think that's the spirit of life. Things die and then they come back to life in a new way, and you know, that's the forever chaos of the world, you know.
Well, with you, with the experience that you have, and how a lot of artists might just start it off, if they get robbed or something, their trailer gets stolen on the tour, which even an artist like you, that would hurt. Somebody like that in an up and coming band would totally decimate them. Where you guys have been around so long, I'm pretty sure street smarts. You understand when you go to certain cities, things to do, what not to do. This all comes through life and experience, something that
Yeah,
you just have to go through ups and downs and take the risk. And so, have you seen also since 2020? The landscape across the nation changed through touring, safety? Do you feel like compared to prior to that, you know, things are a little bit different, but now doesn't matter what state you're in, you need to approach
yeah,
things differently, or
yeah.
no, or like,
Yeah, I mean, man, it has changed a lot since 2020. I mean, touring is definitely a lot more expensive now. I think safety wise, I mean, yeah, there's still really bad areas, really bad places. I mean, like, especially man, like man, Albuquerque, New Mexico, we got broken into not super long ago. You know, 30 minutes at a BJ's Brew House, they just smashed all the windows, grabbed all of our backpacks, things like that. Yeah, you always have to be kind of careful. And yeah, cities are changing, man. Especially yeah, like LA feels like a fucking war zone right now. Lots of these cities feel kind of crazy. Luckily, we're kind of in like the segmented world where you show up to a venue, you don't really leave. You know, there's security and stuff. So luckily, we don't get as much of that. But I do think one of the big things also that has changed over the years is like I think the corporate aspect of everything, but again, like, you know, venues, I mean, a lot of since 2010 or whatever, I mean, a lot of the venues, and the pandemic killed a lot of them. A lot of the classic venues have died. Because you got to think about it this way too. Like, okay, if you're a venue in Austin, and imagine you were a venue in 2010 and what it looks like now, like you have the pressure to close every fucking day because there's someone that's willing to pay more for that slice of land. So all these venues, like, you know, and especially during the pandemic, they were reaching out, they said, we need help. And some of them were revived by people that donated. And you know, even Maryland Auto Bar, one of the classic venues, like they were up for closing, and they were like, you know, Rolling Stones top 15 clubs in America. Like, and
Wow,
it's
top 15 club, and you still have to worry about closing down?
yeah, it's like, because also it's like, like, especially if you're only like a 200 cap venue, I mean, you can only make so much money. You have a ceiling right there, you can, every night you have a fucking cap of what you can make.
Right, unless the fire marshal comes in, or you're paying off the fire marshal. Hey,
I know. Yeah,
well,
exactly.
there has been places. That was that epic story from scaring kids from decades ago about them and a place and a fire. I remember from that scene. The band scene really was a scene because people did look out for each other. There was a bunch of different bands. Some of them didn't like each other. But at the end of the day, they're all under this umbrella, and it really was a cool time to be in the music. And your band was at a good portion of that. And it's unfortunate,
exactly.
kind of like how a cannabis community ain't really there because the corporations kind of destroyed that. There is, but not really. Same kind of way with the band scene. There is, but it kind of sucks. You got to kind of keep it alive.
Exactly.
Reaching out to bands you toured with back in the day, and that nostalgia we talked about, but also making something new and making it kind of like a mold of all of it. And so but damn,
also like with Live Nation, I mean, they bought up a lot of the venues. So even like, you go to a classic venue that you've been to your whole life, and it's like, oh, Live Nation bought this. So you're part of like a huge corporate entity that owns most of the venues. And then you realize, oh, they're also in bed with Ticketmaster. They're the same company. So then it's like, they're the promoter, they're the ticketing agency, they're the venue. They can royally fuck you. And that's why the Justice Department has actually recently started their investigation. I don't know what's going on with that, but they're
Kid Rock reached out to Trump to make sure, and I'm just saying he reached out because he's an artist and he was trying to use his little segue because he's friends with Trump to bring some attention, because we know politics runs slow, and when you want to get certain things done, this Ticketmaster scam has been going on for a while, and it seems like there might get some eyes on it. But it's one thing if you, being an artist, you do some side gigs, or you teach people on the side, or you just do it and you're also doing the band, or me doing all this by myself. But when you're somebody like Ticketmaster, a damn monopoly where they own everything, and then they have the money to go sue people like you or I and crush it, that's not good.
And they even had like kind of like a big trying to clean up their image type thing. Like right after the pandemic, they did this program called something like Bands on the Road, where it's like, we're going to give money and stuff to these bands because we feel bad, and no more merch cuts, because they got a lot of bad press. Like Live Nation got so much fucking bad press, like so bad where it's like, it's like Clear Channel or something like that, where it's like, the Clear Channel turned into iHeartRadio because they couldn't handle the bad image that they're getting from the world, because they are like the Death Star of the music industry and whatnot. So Live Nation, they did this thing, and when we were in Canada, like a little over a year ago, the promoter was like, oh yeah, you guys are part of the Live Nation Bands on Tour. Here's $1,000. And they give you an envelope with, some amount of money or like something, sometimes gift cards and stuff. And it's just this like arbitrary, I can compare it to like your company throwing you a pizza party and saying, hey,
right. We don't want you to unionize, here's
like, so, because they know they're in the wrong. I mean, they've been terrible, because Ticketmaster also, like, if you notice, you go to see a show, they don't even tell you that the show is sold out. You can go to Ticketmaster, get resale tickets. You don't realize you're getting resale tickets. They look like new tickets. Like, they've become the scalpers now. It's like Ticketmaster to fight scalping. They are the scalpers. So they'll sell you a $700 ticket to go see.
Yeah, it doesn't fix anything. It's like if you want to get rid of the scalper, you can't be the scalper. If you want to get rid of racism, let's be honest, you can't combat it with also being racist on both sides. I'm just saying, the way that these people and corporations think they have to beat one thing to in order to be it, you got to be it. That's not, you don't have to. Like Mark Zuckerberg, he changed Facebook to Meta because all the corruption stuff they did. Now people already forgot, it's water under the bridge, but because it's a whole new logo and label. People have short attention spans. They forget when they're getting screwed, and then they change the label because we're consumers and we just want to, consume that all they have to do is. I'm just saying, imagine if you were associated with some bad shit, all you had to do literally was just change your wardrobe. Literally just change the label and you're good.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy. It's insane.
The Kid Rock, he met. Well, that's the kind of thing with Diddy. Not to talk about Diddy, but he used to go by Puff Daddy. Now it all makes sense why he dropped the Buff Daddy and just goes by Diddy. And that didn't even help him, did he? I mean, did he? I mean, did it?
I
Sorry.
know it's better to make jokes with his new name. Yeah, with Diddy.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you go have all these different names and stuff, and you
Yeah.
start getting to the business. I realized that, like, when I was on tour with my friends in Ann Arbor, it was a business. Yeah, you're with your friends, but as I was young, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand it was a business. Sean
Yeah.
Diddy Combs is a business. People see it as just a person, but he's a brand. He's a business. He's
Oh,
literally
100%. Yeah.
a business, makes money, tax ID. People don't see that and how they can use that to make money, different names. It's stuff people don't think about. They just hear
Oh,
a song.
100%. Yeah, no, 100%. It is crazy. Yeah. And yeah, one name change and hopefully it helps your reputation. Who knows, but what a world, man.
Well, when people reach out to you, because what you do on the side also, so you have the tour coming up this summer, but if somebody wanted to reach out to AJ, you actually will fly out, or you can just send tracks over the internet. Tell me, like, if somebody wanted to, man, this guy really knows his music. How can I reach out to him? How can I get him to maybe tell me some pointers, or how can I pay him to help me make a song? So how can people get you involved with their
Yeah,
writing process?
hell yeah. I mean, people can go to ajperdomo.com or follow me on instagram.com/ajperdomo. But yeah, basically I do a little bit of everything. I even do, like, personal song shop songs as gifts. Like, people hit me up, they'll be like, hey, it's my 10-year wedding anniversary. Can you make a song for me? I do stuff like that. I'll sing on people's records. I do a lot of features on people's records. And I do everything as far as, like, I'll write whole songs for people. I'll write and produce whole songs for people. Pretty much any scope of work, I'm down. Also making video content, TikToks, reels, and also music videos. Really anything. So and yeah, with my girl that I'm gonna marry soon, she's a insanely good photographer, videographer. So we're like teaming up to do some more stuff together as well, and trying to kind of create I'm such a, like, creativity guy, like, hey, like, in a hippy dippy spiritual sense, like, I believe everyone has an album in them, everyone has, like, great art inside them. I like walking people through that. I like helping people bring their vision to life and showing them what's possible, because I think every industry in this world is so gate kept. People say you can't do this. Like, dude, everyone can make an album, everyone can make great video content. Anyone can make great shit. Like, again, humanity, like, people just want your story. Your story is important. Your point of view is important. There's someone that needs to hear that. There's someone that needs that. So I like to be that kind of, middle person to help them find their voice, find their way, find their next creation.
Well, here, I want to show this right here. You spoke about your wife and how you guys do video editing. My wife just walked in right now. She does editing. Her and I do videos and stuff, and it helps. Like,
Nice.
like when it comes to drone, it feels great to have a partner, but also somebody else who you do stuff you like. You both enjoy this, and you can kind of work together to create like a business, or just do it. Go out and just, not even a business, just go out and take some photos because you like it. This album right here. Tell me about this. I would love to just play a little bit of this song right here. This song I think is my favorite on the album. I would love for you just to give us a breakdown of this. There's like the Pacific Coast, that song, Gravity. And there's just so many songs, plus the art here. Tell me about this art before we play a little bit of this song.
Yeah, so actually, man, my friend Daniel Anderson in Australia, incredible photographer, and he started the series with this astronaut, and I saw this, and yeah, he goes to, like, these remote parts of Australia and, like, takes this picture of this astronaut in the middle of nowhere, and I was like, dude, like, this feels exactly what is happening on this album right now, like, and the idea, like, I think going in this album, we spent 7 weeks in the studio just going crazy, making it happen, just, dying for the album. And, you start to feel like that fucking astronaut that's out there, you're missing your loved ones. My daughter's at home. My girlfriend was down the street, but I didn't see her much at all during the 7 weeks because I was so inside of the album. And you start to feel like that astronaut out there, like, that's just trying to find something new. But you know, you start to kind of doubt yourself. You're like, what is it all worth? Here I am alone in space, you know, like is all this worth it? There comes some doubt in the throes of creation. You start to really feel almost like, you know, what David Bowie was talking about when he's like ground control to Major Tom. It's like you really get to this point in creation where you're like, you feel so alone, like, you know, and I think that kind of really tied down to it in gravity and trying to come back down to earth after making that album. So
Another great piece. Let me play one of the songs, a little bit of one of the songs right here. This music video, like I'm saying, it's all just
Another night, another star, another wish we'll never find. 'Cause what we're chasing it always. What we're chasing it always. So never settle till the coming few and try to find out what's inside of you. There's comfort knowing the answers are through the doorway. Let's get lost out on the road again. The cosmic search of the soul. I hope you find it. I hope you find it. 'Cause here's to another fire, another line, another drink. Well, never mind, 'cause we'll be chasing it always. We'll be chasing it always. Dive into another night, another star, another wish we'll never find. 'Cause we'll be chasing it always. We'll be chasing it always. Lines go by, we don't wanna crash into the night like thunder. Lines go by, we don't wanna crash into the night like thunder. Another fire, another line, another drink, well, never mind, 'cause we'll be chasing it always.
the shots are just great. I mean, this song too, though. I mean, just the shots. Where was this captured? I mean, look at the.
no, well, so you know what's funny about this one, and I do this a lot. So like I join these websites where it's like cinematographers, you know, like you basically pay a license fee to license, like, you know, cinematographers just make all this great
Oh
content.
yeah, dude. Okay, I see where
Yeah.
you're going.
And so I just go on a website and I, like, you know, orchestrate my vision through, you know, amazing fucking cinematography. So like again, I essentially made this music video for free, you know, like I mean, like I pay like $300 a year, you know,
Right.
a website that has like, yeah, like a stock cinematography footage, you know.
No, it's great. Oh, you wait. This Alan Watts quote, which by the way, I mean, I have all over right here. Oh crap.
Fuck
What?
yeah, I'm a big Alan Watts guy.
I have a bunch. I mean, it's all about being in the moment. Here's the wisdom of insecurities, Alan Watts, a message for an age of anxiety. But you said man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. Well, I mean, dude, you're doing work, but it's not. It's play, as he would say. You're not doing work. You're doing play. You're playing.
Amen. And that's what's cool about like being able to make my own music videos and stuff. Like, and even when I use other cinematographer stuff, like I really get to paint my emotion in another dimension. It's like the fourth dimension. It's really fucking cool where it's like, okay, I wrote this song. I kind of know what it means to me the most, more than anything. So if I can really, you know, I drag out another emotion of it, I really show the way I kind of feel it or see it. So it's a powerful thing to be able to kind of create your music and then your visuals as well. And it took me some years to find that. I've been kind of doing some video work for the past, I don't know, like 4 years or so. I kind of started doing that. And yeah, being able to just paint a different emotion, you know, really double down on what I feel and what I mean. And it's beautiful, man. And being able to put a quote at the end, like, and again, like to make music, you try to open people's mind and to put a little Alan Watts quote for them to be like, damn, you know, like, okay, like, and I have another video with, like, you know, Alexander Shulgin quote, which the biochemist who like found Molly, you know, like, and a million other substances. He like said something beautiful about, you know, being able to see the beauty in the world through like this visible lens, and just kind of like provoking thought. I think, you know, like I like to put myself into it. I like to put my, well, what if type thing at the end of it, or like, you know, just something to, I hope people like just are thinking, feeling, and hopefully I can wake some senses, you know.
Like Bob Ross right here. Happy
Yeah,
little tree.
baby.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yes, dude.
those are your happy trees. It's so important, especially as we get older, to do things you love. And ever since you were a kid, you've always been passionate about music. And here you are as you get older, you're still doing it. You're still telling your story. You're sharing it. You're finding ways now, instead of going into the studio necessarily, you still might have to go in and tune up some things, but you can do it a lot on your own, especially in this digital age of AI taking over, how important it is to be original and show others how you can just, like, if people can make videos, you got it all right here. The internet, you can go to Google, you can use images, you can, there's just so much. You got the canvas, you got the canvas right here. And you're basically saying, hey, I got my own song, I went here, I still made it happen. There's so many other ways now compared to even 15 years ago that you would have needed not even a drone. You would have needed a helicopter to get a lot of those shots. You would have paid top money. You couldn't have been done. Even if you had a good budget. I mean, it could have. You would have spent a lot of money. You would have went broke. And if the video didn't hit MTV, it would have been a waste. So I'm just saying, there's all these different things now. What's the future hold for the Dangerous Summer? That in the summer, you got that UK tour, like we said right here. I plugged that.
Yeah. We got those shows around Warp Tour. We got UK this summer, playing a great festival called 2000 Trees out there. And then we got like a few weeks just after that, kind of hitting mostly east, like a little bit more. And then we're going out with Boys Night Out, doing some of their 20-year shows October. Also Emory, we're going out doing some of their 20-year shows in November. Got some headliners in between. And constantly looking towards the future. Next year's our 20-year. We also hopefully will make an album soon. We're so kind of, again, like hippy dippy, like I'm waiting for the moment to come where the new music is just, I'm like, okay, we're here. Let's finish this album. Let's make this album happen. We'll see where everything goes. But man, I'm excited, just pushing, and like in the throes of creation every single day, whether Dangerous Summer or just working on stuff for, other people or myself. Like I also have a side project called Broken Glow Sticks, and just always, like, I wake up every day in the studio of mine and I'm like, what can I do today? And sometimes, and I'm so ADD, and that's my kind of, like, it hurts me, but it's also my superpower. Like I end up doing some random fucking shit where I'm like, wow, I just spent 6 hours doing this thing that doesn't matter. And then I put it online. I'm like, okay, well, it does matter. Like, hey, this is what I decided to make today,
Well, you got a lot of momentum building up, and man, you just put out a album, and then one before that. So, and then with all these different shows coming up, and the 20-year next year, it sounds like, and Emory, they're that band that had that song Walls, a bunch of great
Walls.
Songs. I'm gonna say nostalgia. You talk about nostalgia. I just hacked into that. I'm gonna go listen to the song after that. Do you think memories? It's kind of weird how music, it's kind of like a sandwich. You have a memory. Like I can think about right now as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about listening to that song with my buddies driving up Highway 99 to Chico, and I'm there even though I'm here with you, but you just told me a name. Now if I play the song, I'm really going to feel like I'm there. Isn't it crazy how music or a smell can just lock in our mind like an iceberg in time? I don't know. It's
it's really surreal, and I do feel like, like also bringing it back to the idea of psychedelics, it's like that's kind of what makes them so profound. It's like it mixes your senses where you're like kind of like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, a sound can give you an emotion, or a sound can give you a feeling. A sound you can, like, it starts to be these blurry lines in your brain of like, wow, like I'm kicking into something that's very specific, and like if you smell a certain smell, you're like, oh my god, it brings me back to this time in childhood where I was in this specific place. The human brain is a fucking fascinating thing, and music is like, it's like a timestamp. And there's so many bands. I was actually hanging out. I don't even remember Guns. I was hanging out with him last night. He was like an old radio guy in Toby, but we were talking about how, like, there's these emo nights, but if you actually start to think about some of the old emo bands, there's so many bands that like aren't even brought up anymore, and they just trigger these memories. Like, like I was saying, like Name Taken and fucking just Autopilot Off, like these bands like that. Who knows, like, if you can even find their music anymore on Spotify, but they were so ingrained in the time period. There was such a feeling back then. And I think we'll always look back. I think people hit an age where everything from their childhood and teenage years becomes valuable. That's like what we're seeing with like Pokemon cards and stuff. It's like, like when you reach a certain age, like someone was talking recently where it's like where you reach a certain age where everyone has money, they start spending stupid money on nostalgia. And emo is one of them. They're doing emo cruises and emo festivals. Go to Las Vegas, see 100 emo bands for $400.
Seeing bands like Newfound Glory, the first band I ever got autographs from, but you're like that now. You sign stuff for people and people are holding your autograph up on their frame. So it is nostalgia, but there has to be some kind of, at the end of the day, right, for you, some kind of just like, damn, somebody had, people, you've signed a lot of autographs, it's a moment. You've been there for a lot of people. So, I mean, how's that feel before we wrap up the interview? How's it feel to kind of be that? How I have Newfound Glory. Yeah. That's somebody, AJ from the Dangerous Summer for them. So how is that?
I mean, it's surreal. And I think throughout the years, you kind of start to compartmentalize the idea. And the way I kind of think about it is like, it's like I feel like I'm an antenna for something that's bigger and more spiritual and more beautiful. Like, I'm gonna separate myself from that person, like, and again, it's kind of like this person was on the beach at 6 a.m. as the sun came out with their best friends, like when they're about to go to college, and what was playing in the background, The Dangerous Summer, and like, and our band means the world to them, and I only understand that feeling because I feel it towards other bands or other artists or other media formats. But it's kind of like it's not even me. Like, how can I create something so profound as that moment in your life? So it's just a little slice of it. I'm just happy to be here and happy to be a little antenna pushing some signal through the airwaves. And who knew that, like someone would want my autograph. And it's really they just, there's something else they're getting out of it. It's not really,
it's not the autograph and the ink, but it's for me, it's not, when I look at that, it's not the autograph, but when I see that, I go back to the moment. It's so much the ink and the paper, but it's so much more. And so
I know.
And you're that for people, and it's really cool.
It's crazy. I'll just tell a quick story though. Man, I met Jordan from Newfound Glory for the first time, and actually Ann Arbor on that tour, 2013 Warped Tour Australia. And like, we had just gotten there, and I was just hanging out backstage behind one of the stages, and Jordan from Newfound Glory comes up to me and puts his arm around me. And he starts singing my own song to me. He goes, "Come down, all the fighting's over. I let you breathe down there." And I was like, get the fuck out of here. This guy who I've listened to my whole entire life, like since I was in middle school, comes up to me and basically introduces himself to me by singing my own song to me. And I like that night, like I called my ex-wife and I was like crying. I was like, oh my God. Like, you have these moments where you're like, oh my God, like what the fuck is life? So that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Had a couple of those. For me, it was interviewing Jordan back in 2008 when I worked at the Synthesis magazine, when the one of the biggest writers there, got me the interview. Well, back then labels would send you records, and if you worked at a magazine company, you do have a shelf for all these different records. Tenacious D sent us their record, but it was in a CD player glued shut where you couldn't take it. Some CDs had IP or something. If you were to download it and burn it, the record label could find out where that song was. But I remember James saying, "Hey Matt, we got the I think it was Drive Through Records. I have their thing." After Records. Anyway, one of them, "Hey, we got an interview with Jordan from Newfound Glory. Would you like to take that?" I remember after I got done, I was like, and what this is about is some people, for me, for you, it might be Jordan Newfound Glory. Somebody else, it might be the guy from Pantera or Metallica. It's just about certain people. They kind of mean something to you. As you get older, you have these, you end up being that for somebody else. So it's just really cool that,
amen, man. Amen. The world's a beautiful place, man. And it's so fucking cool, man. And man, it was so good to connect with you again. Like this is wild, man.
We have to link up, do a Terrence McKenna dose or something sometime and go out in the tree.
Ooh, I like that. So you come to America often, or you out there?
Yeah, I haven't, I left 2 years ago. I was out in Los Angeles, had a cannabis company. Everything was going good. And then I was calling out the homeless issues and calling out the mayor. Then I got doxxed. People are threatening me. Stop. It was crazy. They put, people do nowadays, they can take a photo of you, right? Post it to 40,000 people, make up a lie about you, which you never did, but doesn't matter. It's already out there now. And now people, so anyway, relocated. I hope to go back eventually. It would be really cool to go back there one day. Yeah. But right now, I'm out here, and with the internet, I miss America, but it's really cool being out here in Italy too. And
the slow life.
So.
Yeah.
But sorry, I didn't mean to take it. You're like, hey, I didn't know you went through all that. No, sorry. It's just the online world is so crazy nowadays. Everybody's kind of a middle child with in a Mormon family looking for attention, and they'll do anything to get it.
Amen.
Have you seen fans over the years? Has it got weird, like just people online, or like?
You get assholes, you get weirdos, you get a little bit of everything. Yeah, it's like, and also like, people feel kind of entitled to who you are, and you make a decision or you do whatever, and they feel like I heard a quote where someone was saying like, like when people get angry, it's kind of like you killed the character that they knew in their head. Like you're kind of you killed your own character to them, so they get angry. They in their fictional book that is life, they people feel like they own you or want to control your narrative. And hey, I'm just following my heart, baby, doing my thing. But there's a lot of crazy people out there.
Well, yeah, and for that, like for me, we all take it differently, but I think certain things you take a negative turn to a positive. That's the thing. Recycling negative turn to positive. And things in my life, I've always been able to do that. That's why I say stay highly positive. So that whole thing just kind of made a fire within me with creating and doing everything I'm doing now. It makes you wonder. Unfortunately, you have to go through certain things, but then they end up taking it to places you're like, oh, wow, well, shit. I mean, I wish it would have happened differently, but I'm kind of, I'm not saying it glad. Well, in a way, I guess I'm kind of glad it happened, because now I'm on my path, and I wonder if that didn't, would I have been here or been here this soon or been here this late? Yeah. So everything happens for a reason. I really do believe that. I don't believe in luck, and I dislike when people say that, because it throws a wrench in. Oh, that's just luck. Like, nah, dude, it's not luck. I don't like using the word hate, but anyway, it's not luck. So, but this right here. I just want to say one last thing too. I'll be sending you some better verses. Okay, that was just a little preheat the oven, super bad McLovin. I'm talking about. I like it. Got to turn it on high. So,
dude, I'm ready, man. I love the lyrics too. You're going in, man.
We'll go ahead and chop it up. So, AJ, thank you again so much for being on the Off Topic Show, and I just appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, man. It means the world.
Hey, thank you so much, AJ.
All right. See you, my man.
See ya later. That was AJ from The Dangerous Summer. You guys, I want to say thank you again for watching the Off Topic Show. Make sure you guys go over to Compound Censored and use promo code Off Topic to save 20% off your monthly and yearly subscriptions. There's a lot of awesome shows on the network, but make sure to show your support using my code Off Topic. Also, if you have yet to do so, let me go ahead right here. Boop, ba beam. Here is the Off Topic Show, official Off Topic Show. The, fight mentality tee is what I'm calling it. I got your back, folks. That's right. I'll always have your back. And in fact, that's why this is printed on the Champion apparel. That you see the emblem right there, that's embroidered. You see that quality, folks? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, folks. That's what we're talking about here. And that's why you can go right over here. Boop, beep, 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 beep. Right here, stayhighlypositive.com, and go get yours today. All right. Now, I'm looking forward to doing more of these interviews as time goes on with a bunch of other artists out there. AJ, I just want to say yet again, thanks again. And thank you, everybody out there in the online world, for watching this episode today. Make sure to like, share, hit the notification bell, and, love what you do. All right. I love what I do. All right. I'll see you guys later. See you later, Bob. Tell him Bob. Bob, see him later. Bye. Ciao.
Bob Beans, we just mutated on the knocky jeans. Tiger blood, Charlie Sheen, leadership level like a college dean.